Hey gang, Warren here. Welcome on back to the Cade, and apologies for us taking an emergency week off. Came down to a couple of things. First of all, it's only a couple of times where I live during the year, and I live on the West Coast, do we get actually it being cold enough during the winter that we get some snow, and we managed to get some snow right at the tail end of last week. And then we've been really lucky in the shop for this season in that nobody has really gotten sick. So we didn't have the flu, we didn't have the cold, anything like that, or worse. And wouldn't you know it, now that we're on the doorstep of it being March and it's starting to get warmer here, everybody came down with the bug at about the same time. So eventually got to me, and I, rather than trying to record audio and to go along with new episodes, well, I'm sounding like RFK Jr. on a 4-day frog gargling bender, and that's as political as we get on this channel. I figured best to let my throat get a rest, clear my sinuses, get back on my feet, and then during my day job, we've had some stuff come up where I've had to pull in some extra time for projects that I work on, stuff I do with clients, things like that. So, but we are back and better than ever. We are fully reconstituted and ready to get back into Sega Sports NFL 2K2 for the Sega Dreamcast, as we are in Season 2, and we are riding high still at 8-1, and we still have not only a 5-game winning streak now, but we still have a perfect scoring record against all 5 of those opponents, which, if I remember right now, stands at 124-0. As you see, we blanked the Dolphins back in Week 10, 24-zip. But I said at the time, 2 weeks ago, and I will say it now, I fully expect that we are going to come back down to earth, and we're going to be brought back down in a roaring fireball, because this week we have to go to the city of brotherly shove and take on the Philadelphia Eagles. So without further ado, let's get cracking. Now, anybody who's been a football fan for the last year or two knows that the Philadelphia Eagles are a pretty doggone good football team. Well, in 2002, they weren't bad either. Under head coach Andy Reid, now with the Kansas City Chiefs, obviously, they went 12-4, took first place in the NFC East, won the divisional playoffs, 20-6, but lost the NFC Championship to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 27-10. That said, this is, and you have to remember that was the 2002 Buccaneers were the ones who won Super Bowl 37. So it wasn't they got beat by an inferior team. That 02 Bucs squad was pretty stacked themselves. But you still have Donovan McNabb as your quarterback of these Eagles. We had guys like Chad Lewis, the tight end, Trey Thomas on the offensive line, John Runyon, who did battle with Michael Strahan for the better part of a decade. If I remember right, I think he ended up going to, went to Congress after that. You also had defensive end Hugh Douglas, who they brought over. But their secondary were guys you had to really focus on, with Troy Vincent, the cornerback, Bobby Taylor, cornerback, and then free safety, the Wolverine Brian Dawkins, Hall of Famer Brian Dawkins, who I didn't know much about him at the time. But having watched stuff with him in the last couple of years, I watched an NFL Network Football Life documentary about him. Fascinating cat. And dude played his butt off for the Eagles for most of his career, and then he finished it up in Denver with the Broncos. But they also made some good free agent acquisitions this 02 season. They got Jeremiah Trotter, or they lost Jeremiah Trotter to the Redskins, but brought in Sean Barber from the Redskins, now the Commanders. And then had Antonio Freeman come over from the Packers, Dorsey Levin come over from the Packers, and Levon Kirkland, who had been a great linebacker with the Pittsburgh Steelers during their Blitzburg days in the 90s with Greg Lloyd and Kevin Green, the late, great Kevin Green, sad to say. He came over from the Seahawks. And then in the draft that year, the Eagles actually did really well. They got cornerback Lito Shepherd, as Chris Berman would say on ESPN. They got safety Michael Lewis. Both those guys went to at least one Pro Bowl. And then in the third round, they got running back Brian Westbrook, who would be a offensive bell cow for them. during their eventual Super Bowl run in the early aughts. And Brian Westbrook also has the distinction of making one of the worst tackle attempts in NFL history against the great Ed Reid, when he ran back an interception return. I think it was Kevin Cobb who threw the pick. And that's the one he set for the record bucket at 107 yards. It's pretty much every great highlight really you ever see of Ed Reid. That one gets shown. So J.R. Redmond is busting out early and often here. We've already got 1 first down, and now he picked up a hard scramble 5. So I'll make it 2nd and 5. Now, like we did last week with the Dolphins, we've got to be able to go to the air. So if we can take advantage of that in short yardage situations like this, we should get a pretty good idea. But this secondary is going to test us hard. So I'm not going to have the luxury of waiting in the pocket all day, as Drew got hit on that throw, but I got it away in time to move the chains. But I expect we are going to get rocked quite a bit today from that defensive pressure. And again, with Dawkins and the quarterbacks, with Vincent and everybody else they've got, I expect they're going to make those opportunities really slim pickings, but if we can execute it consistently enough, we should be in with a shout. And then it'll be a matter of just hoping our defense can stand up. As long as Donovan, if McNabb is still the quarterback on this team, and he should still be, I don't think the game would have traded him yet. Threw that one behind Troy Brown, but he reached back and got it.
Got hit hard on that one,
but we are now in Philadelphia territory for the first time today. Speaking of the Super Bowl, you know, I mean, like I said at the time 2 weeks ago, I didn't have a dog in the fight for that one. If the Chiefs had won, I would have seen something I hadn't seen before in having a team take 3 straight in the Super Bowl. And then if the Eagles won, then we didn't. And that's exactly what happened. What I was surprised by was how authoritative the Eagles were in winning that game. And I've heard a lot of pundits say this. You know, the final score was 40-22. They might as well have just left it 40-6. Because a lot of those points that the Chiefs had came in garbage time. And that's what I expected right there, looking for Lucas. They have 3 guys around him to shut the door.
Peter, there were 3 guys playing that zone. I can't believe
but that we are able to get really good movement with J.R. Redmond early on in this game. I mean, I won't argue. Because now we're close to another first down. He's got 5 carries for 45 yards already.
But he ate up a lot of ground. They just need to clean their plate on 3rd down.
I knew the food references would be here.
So now it's 3rd and 2. If we don't make it here, we're in field goal range. I would much rather take 6th and 3, obviously. And instead, Hicks wrapped us up and dumped us. So it'll be 4th and 3, and we're going to have to go for the field goal.
No forward progress.
In fact, I don't think they even
this early in the game, I mean, if I wanted to go for it, I could. But it's better to take the points now, however you can get it, and see what we can do on defense to limit what Philadelphia can do. Should be a chip shot, and it is doink. No good. We doinked it off the post. First time in 2 seasons Adam Vinatieri has missed a field goal, so maybe we should have gone for it. I don't know. And hopefully that will not come back and bite us in the buttocks. But be that as it may, we get Philly and Donovan McNabb taking over the first time on offense today themselves. And that is not Brian Westbrook who is carrying the ball. Looks like that is Cecil Martin.
You bet. Absolutely, Peter. That stiff arm made the play happen.
All right, so it's 2nd and 9.
It's 2nd and 9.
What I'm really looking forward to now is I'm looking forward to the offseason because we got names like Myles Garrett that's out there who said he wants to leave the Browns, and I don't blame him. Having spent a couple years in Cleveland when Garrett was there, I was happy when I got out of that part of the world too. So Cecil Martin, this is his final year with the Eagles. He goes to the Raiders in 03 for a little bit, and he goes to the Buccaneers in 03, and that's as far as he gets. His career was all of 103 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now we kept him from getting any further, so it'll be a 3 and out, and that will likely be the final play of the first quarter.
Well, they've had no penetration at all. You're right about that. I see them falling back on their passing game here pretty soon. It's the end of the first quarter, and it's still 0-0.
So no score through 1 quarter. We will still have a chance to get the ball back here.
2 comes in and will punt for the first time this game.
Now we definitely got to get points on this drive. And I want 6. I don't want to settle for 3. Or trying for 3. Decent return. So first and 10, our 37-yard line.
The Patriots have the ball after the punt and an opportunity to take the lead. The score, 0-0.
And again, if there's questions you want to ask me about the games that I play, the systems that I use, hardware I use, all of that stuff, leave me some down in the comments below. I want to be able to start incorporating kind of a rudimentary AMA when I'm here recording. And it could be anything. Like I said, it could be, video game related, it could be movie related, it could be other related. Not that I'll get super personal about things, but it's all about content. All right, so 3rd and 3. We got it to Johnson, first down. We're back in Philadelphia territory. That slant route we can run on that corner, I really am liking that. Because it's fast enough that I can get the ball away and not have Drew be under too much pressure. But I have to remember I can't keep going to that. I have to break up a little bit. We got Troy Brown wide open, first down near the red zone.
Troy Brown had more interference than a cell phone in the Lincoln Tunnel, but he still managed to make the catch, Dan.
It seemed really risky to throw to him with that much coverage, Peter. But
all right, 1st and 10, closing on 3 minutes to go. Hurdles one guy. Barry Gardner with his 4th tackle of the day.
Took home some nice yardage on that play.
He did, and almost broke free for a lot more with that fantastic lead. All of the
so 2nd and 5. Picked up a couple more, so it'll be 3rd and a long 2. And now, if I gotta go to the air again.
Ball on the 18.
And swatted down incomplete.
Man, if it was up to me, I'd bring out the field goal unit. They're in a strong position to
well, we may have to try for the field goal again, and this time Adam better get it through.
Peter, not you.
He missed from 32 yards out on the last one. This time we're going straight down the barrel. I don't think we're missing this one. Nope. Right down the pipe. So we had to settle for 3, but this time we got it.
Kicks it in for 3.
So we're on the board, 3-0. 8 plays, 44 yards, 2 minutes, 19 seconds with the 35-yard field goal from Adam Vinatieri.
But not so far that your teammates are going to forgive you if you muff it.
And this is the thing about Adam Vinatieri. There were Dude was in my lifetime, and I'm not too far from 50, so I've seen a lot of players in a lot of uniforms in this league. For my money, Adam Vinatieri was the best clutch kicker I ever saw. But I've also seen him miss some absolute gimmies in the course of his career. Which is why when people were talking about, is he going to be a Hall of Famer, that got brought up. It's like, well, he missed routine kicks. Yeah, but every kicker misses routine kicks. We take for granted that kickers in the NFL can do it so easily, or at least make it appear that way, that we forget the fact that they're kicking an oblong ball that's being held on the ground by another guy by his fingers, and they got to be able to drive it far enough and be accurate enough to get it through those uprights. I mean, I played soccer when I was a kid, and I could go out and I could kick the football, and I mean, I could get some decent distance on it, but, you know, I'm not the biggest guy, and I'm not the strongest guy. I'm sure as hell I'm not the fastest guy. So, all things considered, I would have likely been, if I had been an NFL player, I would have likely been a kicker. But I also know that I don't have the leg strength to be able to drive a ball as far as a kicker does.
Position here, Dan.
Yeah, they're probably going to punt it away, and that is going to hurt. 2 will punt it away after a 3 and out.
I didn't realize we held the 3 and out on that one. So this is going to matriculate on down to the 15-yard line. Lauren Malloy's going to pick it up. And we'll only get back to about the 20? 19-yard line. So we got a minute 34 to see if we can get down the field and put some more points on the board.
3-0.
So there's Dawkins over on the left side guarding Lucas. So I got to be careful on this one. And it got swatted down.
Drew Bledsoe really blew it with that throw. I mean, there were 3 sharks in the water out there.
Yeah, you know, I thought it was a mistake to bunch up the coverage in one zone like that, but apparently they knew just what they were doing.
No, well, I was hoping I could thread the needle on it, but I was going to have to go another way.
It's picked up.
We get the Johnson first down, and he hung on to it. If that is something that I definitely like about this game, as opposed to Madden especially, it's that if you can get it to your guy and they catch it, they hang on to it. I cannot tell you how many times I have dealt with playing on Madden only to have that sort of situation where the defensive back comes over and hits my guy and they immediately drop the ball. Now, I understand that in football that happens. You take into account the contact, and it's very easy for a guy to not be able to hang on to the ball. But most receivers nowadays, they know if the hit's coming, they can prep themselves, brace themselves, and make sure they don't drop it. I'm lucky that one didn't get picked. Should have thrown it a half second earlier.
But these wet conditions aren't helping anybody when it comes to catching the ball.
Well, if they're going to throw anything, they ought to throw their passing plays in the circular file and focus on running.
That might be a good idea.
33 seconds left.
So it's 3rd and 3. Need a quick pickup here. I still have all 3 of my timeouts. And that got swatted down. So Trotter and the linebacking core are happy to just play fly swatter.
Downfield into permanent lockdown.
Not much is getting through, and that's a real credit
I have
to
to
the
punt this one away.
and the coaching staff.
Yeah, you take the air attack off the table like that, and you've got the edge in this ball game.
Costello comes in and will punt for the first time this game.
Should be a good punt.
There's the punt.
Come down to 25, and it will skip. Picked up the 15. They get back to the 28-yard line.
The Eagles have got to figure out why their offense isn't working and fix it fast.
Clock shows 19 seconds.
All right, we got 19 seconds to go before the half. Philadelphia will have the ball to start the second, though, because we won the toss. Oh, Lawyer Malloy with a big stick on Cecil Martin.
The loss of a couple of yards. Just 11 seconds remaining. Dumps it left.
Fumble! And picked up by Teddy Bruschi, who's still matriculating his way down the field. And with 2 seconds to go, we can go for another field goal attempt here.
Kept his wits about him and his mitts around the pigskin to nab the loose ball. Nice play.
If that play had happened nowadays, that would have been unreviewed. That would have likely been ruled an incompletion because he didn't complete the process. So this will be a 42-yarder with 2 seconds left. We're hooking it left. No, we did not make it again. I was too early on the trigger that time. So we go to the locker room, still only up 3-0. We absolutely controlled the clock in that first half. But that we only have 3 points to show for it is not a good sign. Because now if Philadelphia can get on the board here in the third, we're going to be on the back foot. And if we can't find ways to get some good offensive rhythm going, like I said, we may not have much of a chance in this one. Right now, we're doing okay, but I'm expecting they're going to try and pull out all the stops here. And only picks up 4 on that one. Brian Cox there on the stop.
That ball found its mark perfectly, with the runner just having to cock his head sideways and catch it.
He didn't have to work.
So the 2nd and 6.
Ball on the 36.
All right, see if we can stop him here. Oh, there we go. Get the sack. Oh, but we got a penalty.
Get the call from the field.
No, we will decline that because it'll be 3rd and 11. Because we got the sack anyway.
I would have taken that penalty faster than, say, the last cherry Danish on the breakfast cart.
That's why you're in the broadcasting booth, dude, and I'm the one who's actually making the decisions on the field. That just made it 4th down. They went 3 and out, and they got to punt it. So, I'm right, you're wrong.
Kibosh on any hopes of a conversion there with a perfect tackle behind the lines.
That'll keep them well short of the marker on 4th down. 2 lines up, and this will be his 3rd punt of the game.
All right, so now we will get the ball back with about 4.5 minutes to go in the third.
Good punt here.
As long as we don't botch it here.
Johnson catches it. 30.
Spins away from one guy, and decent return. Start our 41-yard line. All right, let's get the running game back underway here.
When you give it up like they did last time,
Because J.R. Redmond was having himself a field day
On the field, and we'll see if their opening drive of this half
early on in this game. Because look at the holes that we can run through.
difference in the game is right.
He's already got 66 yards, but he hasn't scored yet.
Defense is going to have to try and find something to try to stop it.
2nd and 3 as we're right near midfield. In fact, we're just on our side of the 50. And he only picks up maybe a yard.
past the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and short. It's 3rd and about 3.
All right, 3rd and 3.
Middle.
Find Johnson 1st down in Philadelphia territory.
The marker, 1st down.
Charles Johnson bobbled it a bit, but managed to keep his hands on it.
Ball on the 42.
Okay. Fresh set of downs. We're on Philly's side of the 50.
Escapes the tackle. 40.
Picks up a big first down and a bit more.
That was a gorgeous run. Give him the first down.
I mean, look at the holes you can drive a truck through these holes that we've
And
got
that gives them the first
for
down.
Redmond to get through. This defensive line is not built to stop the run. I can tell you that for note.
Ball at the 26-yard line. Dodges the defender.
Got away from one set of tacklers, and now he's closing in on 100 yards on 14 carries.
Second down, 5 yards to go.
Ball
So
at the
second and
21-yard
5. I'm just looking to complete a short pass here underneath, and I've got an option. Hopefully it'll be there.
line. Barely gets it.
And we got it. First down.
The marker, and it looks like, yes, it's a first down.
A gain of 6 on the play.
Ball on the
All right.
15.
Close out on 2 minutes to go here in the third, and we're at the 15-yard line. I think it's the first time we're... Yeah, just about the first time we've been in the red zone for Philly all day. Still moving upfield. We can pick up in chunks of 5 yards a go, then I'm liking this. This is the sort of rhythm I'm wanting.
See, they stall when they get into the red zone.
But that we're only 1 for 3 on field goal attempts. That sucks. We're wrapped up and pulled down.
In the backfield.
Jeremiah Trotter really shined on that play, stopping them cold.
Actually, I'd give the whole defense credit,
All right,
Peter. They
so
all
I
did
need
what
to
they
come up
were
with something
supposed
good
to,
here.
which left room for him to strike. It's 3rd and 5.
Let's try this, because we're in field goal range again.
Spirals at middle.
And we go to Lucas, touchdown! Whoo, did we get lucky there? He broke it just the right time that I could get it to him as he hit the goal line. And he had to thread a pretty fine needle on that throw, did our Drew. But we have 6 points on the board here. And now, as long as Adam doesn't have the same problem hitting point afters today as he has with field goals so far, we will have a 2-score lead with about a minute to go here in the third quarter. It is good.
The extra point. The Patriots make it a 2-score game.
9 plays, 59 yards, and 3 minutes and 1 second, capped by the 11-yard touchdown catch by Reid Lucas.
Will take this one away.
So Vinatieri will punt it, or kick it away, rather. Let's see what Philly can do here.
Will make the tackle on the return.
We've only been able to run
Their
11
offensive
plays in
life
this
support
game.
here. A couple first downs would go a long way to that end.
The Eagles will start this drive at the 22-yard line.
This is shaping up to be more like our second go at the Colts.
Played into him and stopped
And
back
Seymour
in the
pulls down
backfield.
Cecil Martin for a loss of 2.
Nowhere to run, baby. No
I
place
wonder
to
if they
pass to
have
either
Westbrook
with
on
these
this
guys the
squad, and
case.
just because he's a rookie, they're not using him. Which, in some ways, makes a little sense, but, you know, at the time you draft a guy, you don't necessarily know how good they're going to be. You really don't.
Makes the stop in the back.
And with the draft coming up here in, what, 2 months?
Defensive plays there.
You know, I've held a theory for a long time that the single most overrated person
Came
in
up empty on
all
that play.
of
You've
sports
got to admire a player like that.
is the number 1 pick in the NFL
Smart.
draft.
Absolutely. He saw where that play was
And
going
I can
right
make
from the
that
snap.
claim because the numbers bear it out. If you look historically at who gets picked in the number 1 draft,
He runs out of
wow, he ran out of bounds. Donovan, what were you doing? That's very unDonovan McNabish. That's more Dan Orlovsky running out of the back of the end zone for the Lions in the 08 season. But again, if you take a deep dive into the history of the NFL draft and you look at the number 1 picks year by year, they whiff way more often than they actually pay it out. And there's a million reasons for that. You know, just because somebody was an outstanding, potentially elite player in college, that does not always translate to the NFL. And that's been that way throughout history. And some guys that you don't think much of, that you take in the later rounds, are the real gems that you can find. And they'll play for a solid decade and a half. And a lot of them go to the Hall of Fame. So it very much is a crapshoot in a lot of ways. And I mean, you look at about how you get guys who, with each team is a scouting department, and you think they know what everybody's looking for, and you've got the best and the brightest eyes and minds looking in on all this stuff, and they still get it wrong so damn often. In fact, I remember seeing a list of the top 10 best undrafted players, and there were like 5 Hall of Famers on that list. Like John Randall, who's a Hall of Famer, was an absolute buzzsaw for the Minnesota Vikings for 15 seasons. He was an undrafted player, one of the best interior defensive linemen the game's ever seen. Made it on the NFL Top 100 list, what, 4 years ago now when they did that list? And he was an unheralded, undrafted guy because they thought he was too small, couldn't run fast enough, couldn't hit hard enough, couldn't get to the quarterback quick enough. And the dude was he was a maniac. I mean, he played like one, and a lot of times he behaved like one. But you ask anybody who watched John Randall play, they didn't care how big he was, they didn't care how much he talked. They knew when he was on the field, and he was definitely an impact player of the highest order. Ooh, as we got it over the outstretched arms of the defensive back and got it to Johnson, first down.
And here are the numbers to prove it.
So with 3:45 to go, clock running in this ballgame, if we can score again, dare I say, we may put this one away here. And if we can hold them scoreless again, that'll be 6 games in a row we have not allowed a team to score. And as I have to keep reminding people, we're running this on the standard NFL 2K2 setting. We're not running it on easy. We're not doing, I mean, this is how it comes out of the box. So hopefully we're running a pass play here. Yes, we are. But I overthrew it looking for Troy Brown.
Is a one-man wrecking crew out there. Man, he's fun to watch.
He had that zone all to himself, and I think that's how he
I just simply threw it out in front of him.
Any help out there?
So 3rd and 5. We get the first down and a bit more, and now J.R. Redmond's got 110 yards on 20 carries for the day. Now I got to get him in the end zone. I got to reward him for that kind of work.
All on the 4.
1st and goal at the 4, but I'm going to change up here a little bit. So hit the motion, go to Edwards. Edwards going to keep muscling his way in, and he's down at the 1. Second and goal, the 1 foot line, closing in on the 2-minute warning. And Jarrell will walk it in, touchdown. And that, dare I say, might be the capper.
Close enough that he just needed the right hole to get inside, and he got it.
Hey, 6 is 6, no matter how easy you make it look.
So if I got to say that there was one defining factor in this game, it's that we were able to run the ball with impunity against this Philadelphia squad. Which is surprising, if I remember right. I think the defensive coordinator for this team was the late, great Jim Johnson. And it was because of Jim Johnson that Brian Dawkins became a Hall of Fame defensive back. Because Johnson understood that Dawkins' versatility as a guy who could cover the pass, attack the run, and then could also blitz the quarterback made him a three-tool defensive player, which is pretty damn rare. You usually get guys who are good at one, maybe two of those things, but not all three.
Mitchell runs out after only a couple of yards.
The Eagles are
And
down,
then
but the
current
game's
Chiefs
not over.
defensive
Eagles
coordinator
cleaned
Steve
up the game
Spagnuolo
tempo
was the
and above
defensive
all, scored.
backs coach. And the guy you may have heard of, Sean McDermott, was the defensive assistant coach on this team. And Ron Rivera, former NFL head coach in his own right, was the linebackers coach.
Dumps it right. It's caught near the sideline. He's out of bounds, and the clock.
I think that might be the first down of the day for the Eagles.
Chad Lewis resets the downs with a beautiful leap that carries him into first down territory again.
He had a nice run leading up,
But he's out of bounds, so stop the clock with 2:15 to go.
For the sake of the team.
Yeah, or risk embarrassment. You know, there's a lot of ways to come down from a leap like that, and few of them are pretty.
Barely gets it off. Finds the 38. What a job by the receiver.
We kept him in bounds, so the clock will keep running, and that will likely take us to the 2-minute warning.
They brought on the blitz, Dan, but it was no match for this
Yep,
tough,
there it is. 2 minutes to go.
offensive line.
Yeah, shutting down the blitz can be murder, but if you're successful, you're
Yeah,
just
looking
about
at this
guaranteed an open man down
coaching staff for the Eagles at 0-2, man. John Harbaugh, Raiders coach, was the special teams coordinator.
the points. So they lead.
Leslie Frazier, who's currently an assistant coach for the Seahawks and former head coach himself. He was on the defensive squad for Philadelphia. And Brad Childress, if I remember right, I think was the Minnesota Vikings coach for a bit. He was the offensive coordinator along with Andy Reid. Let's pick up a 5. But definitely we're on the hurry up here. And he caught it, first down.
Nice play. Ball on the 41. Barely gets it off.
And picked off!
Is down after making a great
Sirwonga playing center field and back deep.
Saw his
The
shot and
free
picked it
safety
off.
ices it for us with a minute 28 to go.
I think he popped it up too early.
I think it's the first pick I've had this season. It's been a long time since I managed to get an interception, and I will gladly take that one. Thank you very much.
Look at the game we got between these two guys. They're both in the zone and racking up yards.
Well, yeah, J.R. Redmond is doing quite well against J.R. Redmond when you put it that way. That's what I wanted.
101 left on the clock.
I just need a first down, and then I can run the clock out. So I'm hoping they'll use their timeouts here.
Incomplete.
That got knocked down, and that stopped the clock, which I
Really
didn't
feeling
want.
the heat on that one, Dan. I think that affected the pass.
No, without a doubt, Peter. They were gunning for it.
You know, he must have felt like he was the last tray in the buffet, and I just got.
All right, 3rd and 5.
Boy, that's certainly
Oof.
penetration and makes a nice tackle in the backfield.
All right, so it's 4th
Crunch
down.
time, Dan, but the burden isn't on
I will
them.
set this up
They've
to
got the
punt it
lead.
away,
Right,
but we
I
are going
say
to
they
run the
kick it
clock
away
down.
and rely
Whoop!
on that defense to
Damn it. Not what I wanted to do. Not what I wanted to do. I picked the wrong freaking play.
stop the clock.
I picked the wrong play. Happened to me. That would have been a hell of a long field goal. So unfortunately that stopped the clock with 37 seconds to go. But
Good punt here. Martin has it. 30, 45. Takes the
He is poleaxed right on our side of the 50.
Turnover in the last drive. You know, it's mistakes like that that have kept them down this game. So they've got to make something happen right here.
So 28 seconds to go. Now I'd expect they would use their timeouts if they can. Running out of the pocket again. And knocked down, incomplete. Brewski there on the coverage and the hit.
Go to the DBs who are playing some of the best football they've ever played.
All right, better move over to a dime set here.
There's 21 seconds left.
If you're the sort of person who watches football and doesn't quite understand how all these play schemes work, Joel Klatt, who is one of the preeminent minds in football, at least as far as the punditry goes, on his YouTube channel, it's Klatt, K-L-A-T-T. He started doing this thing that even I've started watching, where he goes through and breaks down all these different types of coverage. So like the difference between a cover 2, a cover 8, a cover 3. So if you're the sort of person that finds yourself wondering how do people know the difference between those things if you're that sort of degree of a football nerd. Oh, he caught it! They get the first down. The clock is still rolling. Do the last play of the game. And incomplete, and the shutout streak stands 17-0. We beat the Eagles. And again, I was expecting that to be a lot more competitive, and I thought Philadelphia was going to be delivering a lot bigger boom on us than they did. So, as we look at the standings, we are at the top of the heap along with the St. Louis Rams in this 2002 NFL universe at 9-1. Then we got the Eagles at 8-2. Then we got the Chiefs, Giants, Browns, Ravens, Saints, and a whole lot of teams log jammed at 6-4. So as we're 9-1 on the season, so if we go back to week 4 when we lost to the Patriots, or lost to the Colts rather, 14-7. We're 7-0 since that one defeat we've gotten. And now, next week, we go back home to New England to face the Dallas Cowboys. But that, everybody, is Sports Saturday for this week. Again, apologies for the break in recording and getting stuff up. Some of the stuff was out of our control. And like I said, I would rather make sure that I get my voice back and can sound decent enough that I can sit down for a little bit and put these episodes together. But again, if you're enjoying the content on the channel, you know how to show up by now. It's still 2025. You know the rules. Be sure to tune in for Sucker Punch Sunday tomorrow, where we play a classic fighting or fighting platform-based game from the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th generation. Also, be sure to tune in to our ongoing and soon-to-be wrapping-up playthrough of Super Robot Wars Alpha Gaiden for the PS1 from 2001. We've only got 4 or 5 more missions to go, and we can finally put that one to bed. We do have our next playthrough picked out, as we've been talking about. We're not going to give it away yet, but watch this space, because we will hopefully get that going later on once spring gets here in full bloom, probably around late March, early April. But we will also be bringing back our one-day playthroughs and WTF Wednesday. We haven't done those in a while, so we want to get a couple of those in, cycle those through, and then we'll dive into our next playthrough. Be sure to follow us on social media through Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at Ronan's Retrocade to help spread the word about us as we continue to build this channel and make it bigger and better. My name is Ronan. It's been great to spend this Sports Saturday with you. Be safe, be well, happy gaming, and we'll talk to you tomorrow for another edition of Sucker Punch Sunday. Bye.